Texas Longhorns, sayonara. See you later. Do not let it hit you on the way out, baby. This is Locked On Baylor post game.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another post game edition of Locked On Baylor. Your Baylor Bears 93, the Texas Longhorns 85. We kind of experienced it all on this night at the Foster Pavilion. I mean, just so much happening, so much going on. What an incredible game. I can't lie to you guys. I thought Baylor was dead in the water. I mean, early in the second half, obviously the first half, they don't play well. Texas shoots lights out. Those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Texas did shoot really well, and Baylor did not play well at all, I didn't think, on the defensive end. And I thought Texas had figured them out on their offense, so Baylor's defense. But the Bears come alive in the second half. They have an 11-0 run at one point. They're down 14 after the first media timeout of the second half. So it's not like that Houston game where they started chipping away right away. And at the end, they kind of win the game easily. I mean, they're up 10-12 towards the end. They end up winning by 8. Just an unbelievable game. And all of that credit goes to Jalen Bridges. I mean, he was unconscious on this night, and he ends up going 6 of 7 from 3, 8 of 11 from the floor, 9 rebounds, and 32 points. 32 points on his last home game as a Baylor Bear. That was goosebump stuff. I mean, he kept them in it a lot of the times in the first half, and he helped them overcome in the second half. He deserves all the flowers, all the plaudits. I mean, he might even deserve a statue. That was an incredible performance that will not soon be forgotten. And what's crazy is he's not even the leading scorer in the game. Asmus has 33. But I'll tell you, I'll talk about this more on the show tomorrow, but they shut Asmus down in that second half. I mean, there's only so much you could do to hold down a guy like that. He is one of the best scorers ever in college basketball. He was great. Again, they really didn't have an answer for him in the first half, but in fact, I'm looking at it now. He still has 16 points the second half. So 17 in the first, 16 in the second, but he's minus 19 in that second half. Oof. That is stinky, man. That's real stinky. And he's only minus 8 for the game. So minus 19 in the second half. They were just denying the ball. I tweeted about this during the game. It was really a fascinating chess match with the 2 point guards and the way the teams defended them. Obviously, you're going to try and make it so they can't set up an offense, but I thought both teams were giving up easy shots, or what would be seen as easy shots or good looks to some guys, because they were denying the ball to the point guard. You saw that mostly on Texas's end, denying Ray J. Dennis when they could. They just couldn't do it a lot. And Baylor was giving open shots to Brock Cunningham, who just stunk. I mean, boy, I was really hoping there was some rule where the Bears could actually keep Brock Cunningham on the court after he fouled out, because that guy stinks, man. And he took them right out of their offense. And they just kept giving him shots from just about anywhere on the court. And he did not make them pay. 3 points, Brock Cunningham. He had more fouls than points. And is one of the only Texas players that was minus for the whole game. He was minus 8 for the whole game. Caden Shedrick, who has to go out there because they're out of big guys, is minus 20. Minus 20 for the game. Oh, that is just awful, man. That is awful. Not Jacoby Walters' best night, but he still gives you 15, 9 of 12 from the free throw line. Sometimes he's going to have games like that. And if he does that and you win, I mean, that's not bad. Ray J. Dennis, a little fast and loose with it. 4 turnovers still, but had 8 assists and scored 16. Baylor lost the turnover battle in this one. I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, Texas only had 5 turnovers the whole game. Baylor had 13. And once again, the big problem with this team is not just the turnovers, because those have been hit or miss recently, but if they have a lot of turnovers, if they only have a few, teams are scoring off of them. So it's dangerous turnovers. That was 22-7 in that category of points off turnovers. And I can't believe I'm saying this after the game, after how most of it played out, that first, 24 minutes of the game, that Baylor shot better, 53% from the floor. They were also 69% from 3. I mean, that can't go, unnoted there, that they really had probably their best 3-point shooting night of the year. 9 of 13 is atrociously good. Now, UT, like the first game around, they were excellent in that 3-point shooting in the first half. I'm trying to see if I can get it for just the first half stats. Yeah, they were 7 of 13. Now, Baylor was also 5 of 7 in that first half, but these things, they petered out just like it did in that first game in Austin, but this time the Bears capitalized on it. I'll go into some more of these stats in tomorrow's show. I do want to get to the comments, which I haven't been doing as much recently, but this is such a communal event that happened tonight. That was just awesome. I felt every emotion in this game, from the appreciation for the seniors before the game to basically falling asleep in the first half because I thought some of the efforts out there were poor, to cautiously optimistic, to really excited, to emotional and almost moved to tears by the end of the night's proceedings with the emotional win over, let's be honest, the team we hate more than any. When it comes down to it, the team we can't stand more than any. Maybe you hate TCU a little more, but I cannot stand the Texas Longhorns, man. And that felt really good to then, the post game and the seniors addressing the crowd and the prayers there. It was unbelievable. And before I go back to more of the positive Baylor stuff, this was just a perfect, like, I had people around me in the stands tonight that were just perfect. I hate you, Texas people. I hate you. I hate when, the fans are booing the team and there's that Texas fan who just throws his hook 'em up as if we're booing him or her, as if they are. That's the thing about Texas fans, man. They think they are the show because they could do one of these. They think they are the show. God, I hope no one screen grabs that. I have a couple more of these. They think they are the event, and they think we hate, like, our hate is really towards them, which at the end of the day, I guess it is. Maybe they're right in that. But, like, we're here to boo your basketball team. We're not here for you and your white polo with a UT belt on. Like, we're not here for that. And like, they're those ones who whenever there's a bad foul call that benefits them, they'll try to cheer louder than the boos, and they'll go crazy when they hit a free throw just to be it. Like, they don't even, I'm convinced more than half of them aren't even there to just root on UT. They're just here to put the horns up and feel like they're a part of the act. And they're not. And that's all I'm going to say about them. Aiden has a great comment in here. I'm naming my son Jalen. I think that's a good idea because that was an unbelievable performance. This was, and obviously this has been coming. He's been the unsung hero. He was the sung hero tonight. This was him saying, I dare you to not put me on an all Big 12 team. I freaking dare you. And who knows? They still might. they still might leave him off. It's incredible, but he is he is just unbelievable. Will says he's better than Maceo. That's a tough one. And that's no slight to Maceo. These are two fantastic players. I think Maceo's scoring was a little more consistent. And that's not even a bad thing on Jalen, as we've talked about. He does a lot of other things every single game, but they're very, very similar. I'll say that. Very similar. Jacob says Jacoby's ability to draw fouls on screens is incredible. Yes, it is. And I'm glad people are noticing that, because on a night like tonight, that's kind of one of the things I've been saying all season long, to the ad nauseum of, even when he doesn't have a good scoring night, he's doing things right for you. And one thing is getting to the free throw line. And he did not have a shot tonight. And I thought he took some poor shots in the first half, which is usually not his game. But he gets to the free throw line and he helps you out there. And I'm telling you, at the end of that game, Baylor, they didn't have a field goal in the last 3.5 minutes, which typically I'm burying them for. But really, it was good game management tonight, because they weren't hitting field goals, but they were running around and forcing Texas into fouls because they knew those Longhorns were absolutely exhausted. And it worked like a charm. Jackson, Brock Cunningham transferring to Indeed. He better, dude. He's almost my age. Get a job, brother. Get a job. And he is so perfectly UT too. Like, he posted that story or that video after they beat Tech of him, whatever it was, 2 years ago, like trying to egg on the fans, the hook 'em horns. And I'm like, bro, you lost that game by double digits. Like, he's just so perfectly hateable. Biggie Cheese, one of my favorite commenters. Thank you, Biggie Cheese. Anything you saw that we could improve on? Yes. And I'll talk about it more in tomorrow's show, but Texas picked apart Baylor's defense through that entire first half and then some. I think there are some things that they need to improve on the defensive end. The zone ends up kind of working towards the end, but really didn't work most of the game. They looked very unswitchable during this game, where they just couldn't switch all positions, and Texas got mismatches they wanted every time down the floor. So yeah, there's absolutely some things they can work on. I'll get more to that. They still had 8 more turnovers than their opponent, which, 13 is not a high number, or a really high number anyway. It's not great, but it's something that they need to work on. Chuck says winners always find a way to win. And I just wanted to put that comment on there, because that's true. Scotty B talking about Rodney Terry, which I should talk about here. I have not caught up on all this yet. He was criticized the officiating. What did he say? 42 fouls. That's too much. That's the Big 12. I agree. That is too much. But it stinks. It really does. But that's what this league is. Sorry, 42 free throws. 42 free throws, not 42 fouls. There might have been 42 fouls. But yeah, Baylor had twice as many free throws. And I think they were using that strategically in the second half. So I didn't think the officiating was great, but yeah, maybe I got blinded by it a little bit because of that great comeback. And he also got, I don't know if Will is in here, but he apparently got Will kicked out of the game from the student section, Will Bowles, because he told Rodney to win with class, which I thought was nice. He used his words right back at him, and Rodney got him escorted out. Anyway, Texas probably should have got called for probably 15 more fouls than they were. Rodney Terry's an idiot. In the first half, I definitely felt that way. I don't know if it got too lopsided in the second half, but I thought Baylor saw an exhausted team out there and set more screens than they normally would. And I think that is absolutely, that was strategic. Ryan, shout out to you, Ryan. First Baylor basketball game I have ever gone to. One of the best experiences I have had. The atmosphere was awesome as well. Sick'em. I am so happy for you, Ryan, that this was your first game. And I am so happy that you and some of the new students that are going to be coming in are going to get atmospheres like this all the time, because every game at the Foster's been like this. And I don't want to keep dumping on the Farrell, but very, very, very few games at the Farrell were like that, no matter how good we were. And you could tell the place was trying to get into it a lot in the first half and didn't have great reason to. And then they finally did. which is great. And yeah, Scotty B, Foster better than Farrell. I'm gonna have to cut this one off, y'all, because it's almost midnight and I have to record the show for tomorrow, and then I have to get up for work tomorrow. I know I hate this, but I will talk about the Big 12 tournament later this week. But there is one more regular season game. The Bears travel to Tech on Saturday, and they might need some more motivational speeches from Jonathan Chamwa. I would do anything for the audio of that. Scott Drew comes on the mic. If you guys weren't in the arena, Scott Drew comes on the mic after the game, and he's introducing the seniors to talk. And he says about Jonathan Chamwa, what a great leader he's been, how much he's fought, how much he means to this team. And he says that it was Everyday John who was the one giving them the speech at halftime that sparked this incredible comeback and one of the all-time great nights around Baylor basketball for the last couple of years, like one of the all-time great regular season emotional nights. So very obviously happy, exhausted in a good way. Texas Longhorns, see you never, man. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Adios, amigo. Good luck in the SEC. You don't want any of this smoke anymore. We know that. We've been there. We know that. Thankfully, you'll still have the nightmares, but Rick Barnes, Shaka Smart, Chris Beard, Rodney Terry, you don't have to face Scott Drew anymore. We knew you hated it because you couldn't freaking win against him. Best of luck, guys. You don't have to deal with this thorn in your side anymore. You had every opportunity with the resources and the coaches and the recruiting, all of that. You had every opportunity to be the premier basketball program in Texas, and you did not do it. We've been beating your ass for 15 years now, and now we are the national powerhouse. Us, scrubby little Baylor, the school that you think is little brother. Get in line, man. Get in freaking line for another ass whooping. Best of luck in the SEC. This has been Locked On Baylor.